well, I wanted to introduce you to the microscope a little bit today. So here is the microscope. It is a compound light microscope that you would normally be used to if we were to be in the classroom. So I'm going to introduce you to some of the parts of the microscope, how it works, and even show you some images of some items under the microscope today. So my microscope here, it is plugged into the wall, as you can see right here. And some important features to know about our microscope. This is the eyepiece. This is where you look through using one of your eyes, since there's only one lens up there. We also have the stage. Think like a performing stage, right? This is where you put the specimen, aka the little slide that you're probably used to seeing with microscopes. Whatever you're looking at under the microscope would be put on the stage. The stage also has these little stage clips on them. You can hear the noise they make when they click down. Obviously, I would not want to hear that noise, because one thing that could happen is if you're not careful with the stage clips, they could crack the glass of our glass slide. So we would use these ever so gently just to hold down the slide and keep it in place. We have this little turning thing here. What this is it's called a revolving nose piece. It has different objective lenses on them. So there's 3 different ones. We have this one, which is red, which is 4, 10 for yellow, and then blue is 40. So that would be 4 times normal magnification. But something really special about the microscopes is that this piece up here also has a greater magnification. So this is 10 times on its own, including then the 4 times and the 10 times together. It would magnify it much greater. They kind of click into place when they are directly over the space where your specimen would be, your slide. The stage is always starting out at the lowest position. That way, as you're focusing the microscope, it can get clearer and clearer and closer and closer. There are 2 different sets of knobs on our microscope. So we have the coarse focus knob or coarse adjustment knob. You can probably see the stage moving up and down. So that's, again, the gray part is the stage here. It's moving up and down as I move this big knob. We also have the fine focus, which are this little black knob, and there's actually one on either side in the same exact spot. This you use once you have something focused. You would not use this very often, only when you're on those higher magnifications. When we start off, we always use the coarse focus to get it nice and focused to where it needs to be. And then from there, when we move or switch to the next magnification, we only use the fine one, because we don't want to move too much, since it's mostly in focus already. Some other things, my microscope actually is not on. I do have it plugged in, but it is not on. I would need to turn the light on. So this switch down here is the light. You probably just saw the light is right here, the light source. It lights it up. Without that light, we really would not see all too much underneath the microscope. The light is a very important part. We can actually control the light. There's this little silver knob, which I'm moving with my finger. You probably can't see it too well, but it's this little knob, and that is called the diaphragm. It controls how much light can go through. So if you are looking, so focus in right here, and if you watch, if I have the diaphragm all the way open, you can see this light coming through. If I have it closed, it's going to be dark, and so that's going to allow you to control the amount of light, kind of contrast whatever you're looking at under the microscope. So those are some important parts of the microscope. Again, you only use one eye when you look under the microscope. You look through this lens up here. Whenever you are setting it up, you always make sure the stage is all the way down by using this big coarse adjustment knob to make sure it's all the way down at its lowest point. You also always start off with the smallest lens here, which in this case is the 4, or the red lens here. And you always start off with the smallest. That way, as you get closer and closer and focusing in on the smaller objective, as you go up, it gets easier to kind of keep it focused when you get on those higher levels of magnification. So I'm going to show you a couple things, show you how to place an item under the microscope, and we'll look at a couple images of things under the microscope. So I have a couple different slides that I'm going to show you under the microscope. One of them, this one, and you can even see it just on your own without the use of the microscope. This is what this slide looks like. You'll see it's like a little bit of like a newspaper type print, or like a piece of paper that was printed out with words on it. So we're going to take a look at this first under the microscope. So when you put something under the microscope, you make sure the stage clips are out of the way. You'll want to put it onto the stage, and you'll want to make sure that it is kind of centered underneath that light. I'm going to turn the light a little bit so that you can see a little bit better. There we go. So I want to make sure that this slide is nicely centered over the light, over that little center there. That's going to illuminate and kind of help us focus in on one specific part of it. Once I have it placed, I'm going to gently put the stage clips down so as not to break the glass. All they do is help to keep that slide in place. I'm starting on my lowest magnification. I will take a look under the microscope and I'm going to show you what it looks like. Again, you would just use one of your eyes and just take a look under the microscope. And then from there, I'm going to use my big knob, which you can see right here. I'm moving this knob right here to focus it in. And now I have it focused. I'm going to show you what that image looks like now. So while it's not perfect, I am going to show you, again, this is what it looks like under the microscope there, what we're focusing in on. And if you were to look under the microscope, this is what you might see. One thing you might notice is that arrow there. That arrow is super helpful. It allows you to kind of focus in on one specific part of an item or part of whatever is on your slide. And then from there, once it's centered over that arrow, it makes it easier as you move through higher magnifications. Now that I have it focused in on this lower objective, I'm going to kind of move this little revolving nose piece to the next highest objective, which is the yellow one in this case. From there, I am no longer going to touch the large or the coarse adjustment knob. I'm only going to use the fine focus adjustment knob. Since I focused it nice and good on the lower objective, I really just need to make some small movements. I don't want to move this stage too much, otherwise I might knock it out of focus. So I'm going to make that adjustment now so I can see it a little bit better. So I've moved to the next level of magnification. This is what it might look like under the microscope. So we definitely got a lot closer to that. And the closest I can get, I'm going to move to the highest power objective. I'm going to focus it in using my fine focus adjustment knob. I'm going to take a look while I am focusing it, and then from there I'll show you the image of what it looks like. Here's our last look. This is the highest magnification. Again, we're not looking super clear here because we are magnified very far into this one. And we're looking at kind of like something that's printed, like text, words. So I have lots of different options of different slides to take a look at. Lots and lots of options. Anything from hair and scales to plants and fibers and even bacteria and human blood. So I'm going to take a look and show you a couple different images of some items under the microscope. So take a look at some of these images. Again, remember, I'm always starting with the stage all the way down on the lowest magnification to start off, and then I'll get closer and closer and I'll show you some of those images here. If you have any other suggestions, feel free to let me know in the chat of some other things that we might be able to look at under the microscope.